For the Public Safety Committee meeting?
Alderperson Hoggett.
Here.
Alderperson Wyland.
Here.
Alderperson Yakub.
Here. You have in front of you the minutes from the last meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve. I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Number 3, parking. Consider options for outstanding parking fines. Marty?
Well, in front of you, you should have, I hope everybody's got a copy of it. Catherine sent a memorandum in regards to the ordinance that she's suggesting that the city adopt in regards to towing and immobilizing vehicles that have outstanding parking tickets with the city of Hudson. I hope everybody got an opportunity to read through that and take a look at it. I think it's pretty much straightforward. If you have, basically what it states is if you have 3 or more outstanding parking tickets with the city that are unpaid and uncontested, if we find your vehicle illegally parked in the city of Hudson, that the city can either immobilize it if we can't tow it off the street right away, or we can tow it until such time as a citation can be issued. Now, how we envision this happening is say their vehicle downtown is parked and it has, say, 3 or 4 parking tickets that are outstanding and unpaid, uncontested. If we can tow it, we will hook onto the vehicle and tow it to our impound lot, or we will put an immobilization device on it until such a time that we can either get the vehicle moved or the person comes in and pays up the fine or citations. Now, what we anticipate happening is if we tow the vehicle to our impound lot, we will be issuing the owner of that vehicle a citation for being in violation of this ordinance. And the bond amount that will be on there will be the amount of money they still owe us plus the towing fees that occurred with it, up to amount of $500. So if somebody owes us more than $500, the max they can pay to get their vehicle back or bond on will be $500, and they'll have a mandatory court appearance in front of the municipal court.
So if someone owes you more than, so if someone has $1,000 in outstanding parking fines and we tow their car, they can pay $500 on top of that?
No. What'll happen is they'll be given a citation for violation of this ordinance.
Right.
And what'll happen is that they will pay basically a security bond or a bond of $500.
Okay.
That will guarantee that they're going to show up in court on the court date that we will give them along with that citation. Okay. And we will be then release their vehicle back to them. When Catherine was doing some history on this, she found out that we cannot basically hold their property for ransom to get payment back. We can hold it for a secure amount of a bond. Mm-hmm. And after discussing it with me, it was decided $500 would be an acceptable amount because the majority of the people that owe us in back fines is under that $500 mark. Sure. So, and if we take a look at it, if somebody says owes us $200, if we tow their vehicle, we're looking at about $125 for the tow fee and then $25 service fee that the city would put on it. So you're looking at about $150 that would be added on top of that. Unless we hold onto the vehicle for more than 24 hours, then we have to add storage onto that.
Okay.
And how many people that owe us for parking fines won't be able to give us $500 to get the vehicle back? I guess that we'll hit that when we hit it. Right.
When we get to that portion, yeah. There might be some that can't afford to pay it. Now, if in reading the ordinance, if you take a look at it, what'll happen is once they reach that threshold of 3 unpaid parking tickets or uncontested, the city will send them out a notice stating, hey, you owe us for these tickets and this amount of money if we catch your vehicle on a city street parked illegally. Now, that's the caveat to this. We just can't come across our vehicle and just right. Grab it. It has to have another parking violation that draws our attention to it.
Okay, that makes sense.
That so we will either immobilize or we'll tow your vehicle. If we immobilize it there in the scene, we're also going to put a notice on their window saying, hey, your vehicle's immobilized. And if you take a look at the ordinance itself, you'll see under section 23555 that there's 3 things that'll be on that notice. And that's what the other notice is. Say if we end up towing the vehicle, we can't get a hold of the owner right away, we'll have to send this in the mail to them as well. That, they have a right to an immediate hearing held within 2 business days. So that'll answer your question on the $500. Mm-hmm. So if they can't get it out right away in 2 days, they can have a hearing in front of the municipal judge right away or in front of the city attorney, mm-hmm. Whoever the judge will decide. They have a right to get the possession of their vehicle after $500, and then they have a right to be heard in regards to the citation itself.
Now, have you looked into the purchase of boots?
I have not
Price?
looked into that yet, because before I did that, I wanted to see if this ordinance was going to be acceptable and was going to pass. Then we'll take a look at going to that next portion.
And you don't need to come, from your estimate of the cost of boots, you won't need to come back for
I do-
committee. You can do it,
I'm thinking somewhere between $200 and $300 at the most for a boot, depending on what kind we get.
right, so you can do
So-
that purchase just on your own,
Correct.
so it won't
On your
delay
own
things.
purchase.
We'll just take it right out of the parking fund.
So why do they have to be in a parking violation to boot or tow their car when they're already not in compliance with the law? They've already got outstanding parking fines, right? So
All right. And
why do they have to be
And their
illegally
registration
parked?
is already suspended.
Well, and sometimes that probably will be the fact as well, but I think it's because Catherine wanted to have that other violation in place, so that, we're just not going out hunting for these vehicles
wanna
and
make it a
taking them
hunt,
out of people's
yeah.
driveways or something along. We wanted to have them illegally parked on a city street going, all right,
But if they're parked in a meter, and the meter is plugged properly, but their car registration is suspended, they are illegally parked
they
on
are
a city
illegally
street.
parked, that is correct.
Right.
So basically, you want them parked on a street and not their driveways,
Right,
is what we're getting
right.
at in some
We're-
words.
We don't want to be going onto people's property and towing
Right.
vehicles
And
off,
this
obviously.
isn't a witch hunt. This is
No.
basically what we're doing is saying, we find you're parked illegally. We're gonna look it up and say, you know what? You owe us so much that you're gonna have to, we're gonna take or lock down your vehicle until you pay.
And what I anticipate is once a month, like when we send out our suspension notifications to the state to send these vehicles suspended, we'll probably be sending out letters also to the people that have 3 or more citations and saying, hey, if we find your vehicle after, because the notice says you have 10 days to take care of this, or this is what's going to happen.
Mhm.
So we will send those notices out monthly and say, this is what's going to happen, so.
So do we,
I move that we take this ordinance as drafted and send it to council for review.
is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. Passes. All right, number 4 is consider request for a resident to plant prairie grass. Now, I spoke with Denny Darnold today after getting the paperwork last night and reading the ordinance and discovering that what they want to plant is only 7,500 square feet. The ordinance requires an acre of prairie grass. So, after talking to Denny, we found, also that they're supposed to come to Plan Commission anyways. So we're gonna push this item over to Plan Commission, on the Plan Commission agenda to look at possibly amending the ordinance if we feel fit to do so.
I'll put out my state right now and say, you know what, I think that prairie grass in the city is not a good idea. I mean, number one, we've got ordinances that say you have to have your lawn mowed to a certain, and we hold people accountable to that. I like the comments on the issue sheet here is, how do you know when it's prairie grass and when it's other grass, and when do you write a citation, and who are you going to write it to? And the fact that prairie grass is designed at a certain period of time to catch fire and burn off.
Not necessarily, you can mow it down.
You can
don't
mow
have
it
to
down,
catch
but, I mean, if you look literally at the prairie, it refreshes itself on a regular basis because it catches fire. So here we're adding incendiary, is that what, to the yard to say, here it is, and just seems like if there's a lot of people who would rather not mow their lawns, why wouldn't they just plant prairie grass then?
Well, and I think that's why when Plan Commission looks at it, it'll be, if depending on what's decided, and as you know, I sit on Plan Commission, and one of my thoughts is if we do change the ordinance, it would be at discretion of the chief whether or not whether or not the space is safe or not to do what people want to do. There's various reasons. The reasons here were because they're on stage line and they can't maintain grass or what have you. It doesn't really matter right now because it's not for us to decide at this moment. At this moment, this request can't be considered because it's under an acre. So that's why I'm just going to push it to Plan Commission and see if Plan Commission would like to consider changing the ordinance or not.
But I'm just saying, from a public safety perspective, I don't think patches of prairie grass within the city is a good idea.
Right.
So I think that it
Do you have
creates a
anything
problem in the
Anything you
future.
want to say?
I can see it being a maintenance nightmare to manage. That's what, that,
Okay. And what about the
Unless
natural
you have
pockets that are in the city right now? There's some natural pockets in the
sort
city.
of conditional use permit, and each one's evaluated on, you know. But otherwise, other than that, I can see it being maintenance.
What about the
management,
the natural pockets that are in the
management.
city? Are they, I mean, they're not being managed, they're just in the city, natural pockets of prairie grass around the city, they're not.
Right, you know,
Have any of
undeveloped lots and that kind
Right.
of thing.
Have any of them been caused a
Well,
problem?
no, nobody's
Right.
trying to burn them off or keep them as prairie grass, you know.
Right,
I mean, they're just-
it's in its wild state. You got
State.
some prairie, you got some weeds, you got some this, you got some that. So if we want to let our neighborhood, if we want to say it's okay to let your yard go wild, that's, I don't think we're saying that.
Right, no.
Yeah, so,
Technically, the prairie grass restoration is designed to create and renew a habitat that doesn't exist in a lot of places. So successfully in Wisconsin, there are, I wouldn't say hundreds, but some cities that have adopted prairie grass ordinances, and one for habitat, because a lot of that habitat's going away. Two, it actually provides good watershed. It's like a rain garden, only it's yard-wise. And controlled burns are used by the fire department and other people for training. So there are some upsides to prairie grass that I know of, that I've seen.
I guess I'm just thinking about, you know, how many people down 3rd Street and down 5th Street would choose to plant prairie grass instead of grass.
Again, though, it wouldn't be instead of grass. This is not, well, actually, it's not for me to say. This is, I mean, if I were making a decision, I don't think I would say yes, instead of grass, you may have prairie grass, but there are situations where erosion is happening or grass won't take for some reason, and, you know, we either have obnoxious weeds or find an alternative that, you know, and that's what some residents are looking for, whether or not anything happens with the ordinance. Right now, nothing, if it's not an acre, they can't do it, so.
The only other concerns, as far as I'm concerned, would be, we have a deer tick issue. Does this increase, you know, is this habitat that deer ticks and other vermin would like to habitat in? That would be another safety issue we need to look at.
Is that a correct use of the word habitat?
Probably not.
So, I don't think I need to make a motion to put this to Plan Commission, do I?
I would just like those things noted when it goes to Plan
Okay,
Commission, the
well,
public safety issues.
I will, then I'll make the motion so it gets
Okay.
in the record to have this item be considered at next Plan Commission meeting.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Do you want to say, sorry?
I was gonna say, the hospital has besides this individual hospital, it also has a small parcel that they like to burn, or, you know, that's prairie grass.
They'd like to burn off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, it becomes a maintenance issue.
How big is their parcel, do you know?
And Dave's been up there. and looked at-
It's the parcel that we're looking at for the helicopters, I think, up there.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's less than an acre.
Less than an acre. That was the original intent of the ordinance, the prairie ordinance, was that, so the city, so people would not plant that in the city, we made it a minimum greater than an acre.
Yeah.
Because most city lots
Right.
aren't that big.
Right, exactly.
Well, I don't think the habitat, all these trees and everything downtown is really well suited for prairie grass anyway. So
Right.
it's not really a natural fit.
So,
The only other burn, if you will, we've had over the years has been up at the quarry,
mhm.
Hanley, and the company did a very good job.
But that's over an acre.
That's over an acre.
So we have a motion and a second to move it to Plan Commission. Is all those in favor?
And what are we asking Planning Commission to do, to
To
change the
consider
ordinance?
changing the ordinance, yes.
To be less than an acre.
Consider looking at the ordinance for amendment is all I've talked to Denny about, so that's what we're gonna look at. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I don't really know if we need a motion or not. All those opposed?
No,
Okay.
I think it's a waste of energy and time.
So, all right. Anyways, just in case we needed one, we got technical, so. EMS, Fire Department, and Police Department updates. Chief Fry.
I ordered the carpet for the office today. I'm looking at furniture. I gotta talk to the mayor, some of the furniture that's in his office actually belongs to the fire department.
In the mayor's office?
In the mayor's
Yeah.
office?
The chief before me had an office upstairs here, and that furniture was in there. Then when I got the chief's job, I went back over there and I didn't have any place. Well, it was the time the water utility director and stuff all switched around upstairs, so then I got left out without an office. So I didn't have any place for the furniture, so it went into the mayor's office.
It's preempted, okay. And what's the problem?
I need office furniture now,
I'm sure we got a few folding chairs around here.
yeah.
Yeah, okay,
So I've been looking at some furniture anyway.
all right.
Chief?
Actually, it's been going very well. We had a busy 4th of July weekend. Nothing very serious other than obviously some disorderly conducts and some other issues out on the dike, but otherwise it was a pretty good weekend.
Good.
It was a busy weekend
It was very
downtown,
busy.
and lots of people.
Parking meters have been moved to,
The parking meters are done. They're all in place. I believe all the ones in the Wells Fargo lot, or the north lot, have also been taken.
Yep.
I do not know if the signs have been put up.
I think
Tom
that,
wasn't-
yes, they have.
They
I
have been
saw-
put
I
up?
was just in the lot yesterday.
I think the 8-hour signs have been put up. Were there 4-hour signs that were going up?
I think, yeah, I think they're all up, but I could be mistaken. There
Okay.
are some signs up.
Right. But I do know the ones down the Phipps lot are taken care of.
Excellent. Informational items, don't think we really have any right now. So, other items for future agendas.
None at this time.
John?
I can't think of any either.
I have a couple. I've gotten requests from residents to consider restricting parking on one side of the street in Bridgewater Trail, over in the Lighthouse development by the townhomes. And then I was going to suggest a purchase of boots, but it doesn't look like we would need that on the agenda, so we don't have to do that. And my other thing I'd like to, item I'd like to request is that the department heads start looking at their budgets for next year and see how we're going to be able to manage a zero increase budget for the next fiscal year. And I don't know if we want to bring that back with a few different options to look at, or if you know, if we need some help looking at them or not. Talk to Devin and just to kind of keep that, you know, on the radar and possibly bring back a few ideas if we need them. So, other than that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.